Hello, hello. How are you? Let me see if I'm live. Should be live. Yes, I'm live. All right. Welcome back to Ask Jason Anything About Meta Advertising and Digital Marketing. This happens every Sunday night at 10 p.m. Malaysia time. So, what I do here is I mainly answer questions that I receive from my community, my clients, especially if you follow my YouTube channel. I actually posted over 1,000 videos on YouTube. About meta advertising and digital marketing. So if you have any meta advertising and digital marketing specific questions, the first thing I would urge you to do is please go over to my YouTube channel. Just go to YouTube and search for Jason Gunn and try to search for an answer. Like I say, over 1,000 videos, probably I've covered something similar to the challenge that you're facing right now. Basically, yeah, I hope I have posted something that is useful to you, which you can eventually just quickly get the answer, move on to the next thing, because there are 1,001 things in meta advertising and digital marketing that we need to fix. So, but if you cannot find an answer, doesn't matter. All you need to do is just post your question as a comment on any of my YouTube videos. Basically, what I'm going to do is on the following Sunday, I'm going to screenshot that question and I'm going to bring it up over here live and answer your question live. So you can choose to join me on the following Sunday. Otherwise, all you need to do is just go back and watch the replay. Then you will get the answer. All right. So if this is the first time you see me, welcome to my universe. I always like to say that. My name is Jason. I am from Malaysia. I'm a meta advertising and digital marketing specialist and strategist. So what I do is I help businesses take their advertising campaign to the next level on advertising side and the marketing side, because I always believe that when you have a performing campaign or non-performing campaign, there are multiple things that that are really involved here. So definitely the advertising is definitely one thing we want to look into to see whether everything is optimized on the advertising side, meaning are you running on the top best creative that is having good CTR, or is your structure correct, is your audience targeting optimized, questions like that. And yeah, then if it's not, then we can work on fixing it, restructuring it. And I would always cut in from the analytic perspective, because I specialize in analytics. I always believe that the number will not lie. So in my opinion, the best way to optimize an ads campaign is to look at the number, and by making sense of the useful metrics, and we can make sound decision based on facts instead of gut feeling. So yeah, and of course from there we will also discover if there is anything we can fix on off the ad side, which means, let's say if you run an e-commerce business, we can always see if there is a very big gap, like jumping from, say you have a lot of visits but you have really low add to cart, for example. That could be an issue that we can try to fix, because by boosting the add to cart, eventually we are able to just make more sales without spending more money. The idea here is I always advocate, before you talk about scaling, meaning scaling means you want to spend more money to make more money, right? But before we talk about scaling, I would say the first thing we always want to look into is to optimize the structure first before we talk about scaling. Otherwise, you might be scaling a leaking funnel, which can be pretty dangerous, and you might be losing money from there. So yeah, so in case you need help, whether you want to optimize your campaign or marketing, because when we talk about marketing, there are other things that we look into, right? Your offer, your promotion, like all these things that we look into, which is on the marketing side. So yeah, so that's something that you're looking for, that you can always scan. There is a link on my YouTube channel that you can click on, and we can have a quick discussion to see how we can possibly work together. But just in case, let me bring up the screen. All right, so yeah, so this is me, right? I think this picture was taken 2 years ago. I look a little bit tired right now. So anyway, just in case you have some pressing question that you need a quick one-on-one discussion with me to address whatever challenge that you're facing, whether to go through your meta ads campaign to quickly analyze and see what are you doing right or wrong and how to fix it, or even to build a plan. Sometimes in fact, a call itself is good enough. You don't really need to go into a coaching program per se before you understand how I work. But if you just need somebody to look at your campaign and your marketing to give you some recommendations, you can scan this QR code and you can book and pay for a quick 30-minute Zoom call, or if you want to go for 60 minutes, which is fine. But I'll always say a 30 minutes is good enough. And Let's have a quick discussion. Share your screen, bring on your whatever analytics or your data and whatever. We can dive in together, and from there, we are able to build a plan, hopefully to take your campaign to the next level. All right, so that's the first thing. Now, the first question I have here is coming from Cayenne. So your question is, do ASC campaigns compete with each other? So let's say you're running different ASC campaign and testing different creatives. All campaigns runs with the same location targeting. Theoretically, they do. But okay, here's the thing. Whether they are competing among each other, I mean, theoretically, like I say, they will compete among each other if they are given the opportunity. But having said that, it really depends on your audience targeting. Let's say if you're doing a location audience targeting, my question is, how big is the location? Say, for example, if you're targeting Malaysia, we have about 30 million Facebook users or Instagram users combined. So you are actually targeting quite a broad audience. Let's say if you're not doing any detailed targeting, let's say you go broad, just like a 30 million users, that allows you a little bit of runway. So when your audience is bigger, theoretically, even there will be competition among each ad sets and campaigns. The situation should be not that bad. But having said that, the best way to find out whether your campaign compete among each other is first go inside your ads manager, okay? And then after that, go for a 7-day to 14-day state range. I think 7 days is ideal usually. So if you go for 7 days and then you combine all campaign together and look for the frequency data. So let's say if you have five campaigns, ASC campaign stands for Advantage Plus Shopping Campaign, right? For those who are not aware. So basically, if you have 5 campaigns, you just need to look at the combined frequency is how much. So if each and every one of them, you're having like 1 point something frequency, but you have a 3 combined frequency, then that probably means that your campaign are competing among each other in a more serious way. So there are a few ways to do this. Okay, one way is you can break your audience. Say, for example, if you're targeting Malaysia, for example, you can break them into different regions. One is central region, one is northern region, one is southern region. One is West Malaysia. I don't know. Anyway, so this is something that you can actually break them into to reduce the competition. But if you still want to go broad or whatever, you still want to keep the same structure in every campaign to keep running. The second way to do that, okay, is to apply exclusion. So when it comes to exclusion, it's very straightforward, right? Go inside your ad set level, go for custom audience, and inside there, create an exclusion audience for it. So the easiest way actually is create a generic exclusion, which is the highest level exclusion, I call that. Usually, you can exclude people who have engaged with your Instagram and Facebook. I mean, we will actually have to create 2 different custom audiences for that. So if they engage with your Facebook or Instagram in the last 30 days, unless you have a super active Facebook or Instagram account that a lot of people are engaging with you, but theoretically, these will be people who have seen your ad, click on your ad. So you see, not every click, because they will see your ad on the Facebook and Instagram first, right? Not every click will go to your website or your landing page, but at least they click, we can already push them away from seeing the same ad. So that can help you reduce your frequency to the minimum level. But always remember, ASC theoretically takes care of the retargeting. So sometimes we can tolerate the frequency to go higher. So my rule of thumb is very simple. If the campaign is doing fine, slightly higher frequency, it's okay. You probably just want to have a little bit of variety of ads creative. I believe you're testing creative, which is good, because higher frequency, meaning they actually see multiple of your ads potentially, which is a good thing for your brand. But you probably want to have a more, like stronger exclusion in place, like people who have purchased, you want to push them out. And then people who have gone to a certain stage, like, they have added to cart and yet to purchase, you want to break them into another segment and have another campaign targeting these people and all that. So building a different structure can give you a different control when it comes to the competition among campaign. But theoretically, like I mentioned, it is definitely going to compete each other. I mean, all these ASC campaigns, but it really depends on how do you structure your campaign and what is the current situation, as in like how your campaign is doing at the, and we will definitely see what are the things that we can do and adjust from there. So yeah, Cayenne, just in case you need help, I hope that answered your question. But I believe we can look at a lot more things if you, we can dive into your campaign and start looking at different things. But definitely, that's how you can control your competition among campaign. But I say it also depends on your campaign structure, your other metrics, and see how do they react among each other. And there are certain things where we can look into. So if you need help diving into your Meta Ads campaign metrics and try to build a plan for you to potentially take your campaign to the next level, scan this QR code, and you will be able to book and pay for a 30-minute or 60-minute one-on-one Zoom call with me. And with that, bring your screen, share a screen, I would take over. We would actually dive into the data and, like to fix whatever that we need to fix and to build a plan. So yeah, if that's something they're looking for, then scan this QR code and I look forward to work with you. Okay, now then we have the next question. This is a question that I get when I was having a quick discussion with my, like client the other day. So we were talking about what are the best way to boost e-commerce ROAS. You see, a lot of people believe that the best way to boost e-commerce ROAS is to run better ads. But this is really something that I always like to beg to differ. Why? Because put it this way, the advertisement only works as a bait, as in like it will bring people into your universe. But then again, there are many factors that like makes people buy or makes people don't buy. So basically, the best way to boost e-commerce ROAS is not just the ad. That's what I want to argue. But I would like to give you a few examples on how you can boost your e-commerce ROAS without even touching the ad. Now, the first way is I believe not everybody have cart recovery email. This is really something that is, in my opinion, especially if you run an e-commerce website, which is your own e-commerce website, whether you run it on WooCommerce or Shopify, I totally believe that you must have a cart recovery email. So basically, a cart recovery email means when a person add to cart, or at least or probably to go to a stage of initiating checkout, there is a way for us to start sending email to these people. It really depends on the mechanism, how soon do you capture the email and stuff like that. So we should be able to start emailing them and say that, hey, you have this thing in the cart, like why not just check out while the stock is still available. Now, optimizing the cart recovery email can actually potentially make you 10 to 20% more sales. So basically, the statistics is always like that. 10% who have added to cart, 10 cart recovery email that you send out, you probably will get 1 or 2 eventually pick up and purchase. So that's something that you have to look into. It's a simple thing, but of course, when it comes to cart recovery email, there are different way of optimizing it. So it really depends on your strategy and structure. Some offer discounts, some don't. Some offer different kind of bundle or something like that. So you really have to look into your strategy and how you want to word the email. And, of course, you need to work on the back end of it. Like, want to make sure that your email is DKIM, like an SPF fixed up, basically it doesn't go into spam or something like that. So these are all the things that you can look into. But cut the recovery email would really help you, capture something at no cost. So immediately they will boost your e-commerce ROAS. All right. Now, the other thing that you can potentially do is to optimize your checkout process. You see, different system has got different checkout process. Like the other day, I still have, I don't know. I mean, it's even like nowadays, I always believe that if you're using WooCommerce or Shopify, everything should be taken care of. The checkout process should be very well optimized and already. But for some reason, because of the themes that you use and all that, you may still have some issues in the checkout process that may stop people from buying. Like the other day, I still see a website that requires a person to become a member first before they buy. That immediately puts me off. Seriously, I don't want to sign up as a member because I just want to come in and buy this thing. I don't even know whether I will come back and buy from you again. Why would I want to create so many membership and do all these things with you, right? So yeah, so optimizing the checkout process is actually something that is quite important. So, I mean, the easiest way for this thing to happen is to get somebody who is, like totally new and stranger to your business and come and do the checkout with you. And then you ask them really to tell you very honestly if there is anything that they feel irritated and something like that. You can ask this to at least a few, maybe up to 10 people. That will give you some very useful insights about things that you can potentially tweak. Like buttons can also play a very important role, like the button color. Like I've seen an e-commerce website where the add to cart button is so invisible. It's almost in red. I mean, it's a white color with the black color line, something like that. I mean, who would have used that kind of color combination? Because people just don't look, I mean, I don't know what to click. So that would also stop people from proceeding to the next step with you. So these are simple little things that we can do to boost the e-commerce ROAS, but we definitely can find out more when we dive into the numbers. So the easiest way for us to do that is if you really want to find a better way or different way with facts. Yeah, what I'm talking about here is we do not just plug things from the sky. We dive into the meta analytics, meta ads analytics, or even if you have Google Analytics, we use all this data to dive in and see what are the things that we can fix. So yeah, this is what we can do, right? But I specialize in Meta. If you run Meta ads and you want to take it to the next level, you want to boost your ROAS, there are many other ways aside from these are the two things that I just shared with you. So what I do is, if you scan this QR code and pay for it, you can book a 30-minute Zoom call with me. So the first thing we can do is, let's dive into your Meta ads analytics. I will sort it out and build a dashboard for you to see, how your campaign is doing based on all this data. Because number won't lie. I always say that do not run ads based on gut feeling. Always depend on number to make a decision. That's the best way to make decision. And from there, once we build this thing, we'll be able to really know what are the leaking points in your entire funnel, and we fix it. And we definitely, if it's landing page, then we see a big gap there, then let's take a look at the landing page. And I'm going to give you the bluntest opinion and feedback about this whole thing. And we try to fix things one thing at a time. So this is how we can potentially work together. So if that's something that you're looking for, then scan this QR code and I look forward to work with you. All right. Now, the next question here is how to reduce cost per purchase for Meta advertising. Now, it's a very important question where reducing cost per purchase, okay, is definitely one important way for us to increase ROAS, but there are many other things that we can do to improve your overall sales, right? Like the other day I was just talking to a client, is there any way that we can kind of bundle things together, and immediately we boosted the ROAS by quite a margin. Like we used to get about 5 ROAS, immediately we start getting about 7 and 8 ROAS. Why? Because we are selling bigger basket instead of selling something that is lower. I mean, there are many things that you can do. Let me give you some example here. If you want to increase your ROAS or reduce your cost per result, I mean, like I say, cost per result is one thing, right? But I'm sorry, I got distracted. So I just want to share with you this idea. No, how do we do that was, we give a voucher for people to buy, it's for example, $10 voucher when you spend $100. So usually people just spend about $50, $60. So we get them to spend $100 and we get them a 10% discount. That immediately increased our basket and that immediately boosted our ROAS. So it did not reduce the cost per purchase, but anyway, it's just an idea. So how can we reduce cost per purchase? Now, in fact, the best way is, if you want to reduce your cost per purchase, we can actually start from a very beginning, which is the ad creative. So if you have better CTR, say for example, if your CTR is 0.5%, for example, and you're getting your cost per purchase as about like maybe $10, for example, per sale. So if I'm able to increase the CTR from, let's say now at 0.5%, if I'm able to boost it to 0.75%, for example, meaning I introduce different creative, and I use different better promotion or better bait, and I get more people to click on the ad. So yeah, so immediately I improve the CTR by 50%. Okay, do you think I can potentially get immediately I get 50% more clicks, 50, right? 50% more clicks going into your website. Do you think I can potentially get 50% more add to cart? Okay, now maybe I don't want to be that ambitious. I will get 30% more. Okay, and I will get 30% more add to cart, maybe 20% more sales. So immediately I get more sales when I'm spending the same amount of money, okay, to attract different number of people who click on it. So immediately my cost per result will drop. It's a science. It's not complicated. So it's really about finding things to fix. So if the ad is the problem, fix the ad would actually help you get better result. That's for sure. Lower cost per result. But of course, we can look at other things, like for example, if you have a lot of people adding to cart, but they are not converting, adding a retargeting campaign is definitely going to be useful for you. I mean, regardless whether you have a lot of add to cart or not. E-commerce campaign, you must have a retargeting campaign, meaning you want to follow those people who have added to cart in the last 7 days, or even visit your website in the last 7 days, to serve them a different ad, to maybe give them some voucher, some promotion, or even just remind them about your product, would definitely help you get more sales almost instantly. So this is how you can reduce your cost per result. But like I said, as I already illustrated to you, there are many different tiny little things in the whole funnel that we can identify. So if you've been running ads on Facebook and Instagram or Meta, and you want to kind of like find better way to reduce your cost per result, whether it's cost per purchase or cost per lead, in what manner, we can have a lot of things to look into in the analytics and data to help us make decisions. So if you need somebody to look into your data to give you quickly a diagnosis about what's going on, what are the things that is leaking right here and how can we fix that, scan this QR code, book a 30-minute Zoom call with me and pay for it. It's immediately, you can actually do that. And we can dive into it right away. You and I over Zoom call, please be ready to share your screen so we can look into the number. I'll build you a dashboard and we will analyze together, and I'll build you a plan that these are the things that we can do, and hopefully we can change the outcome in a very meaningful way. Okay, scan this QR code. I look forward to work with you. All right, now this is the last question that I get. This is a very important question because Yeah, the question is how to get more calls booked from a lead gen campaign. You see, this is for lead gen, right? When it comes to lead gen, we understand that most of the leads are not responsive. This is given, right? Especially if you run meta lead gen, meta lead form, it's going to be worse. But usually we will be looking at about 80% actionable leads and 20% actionable leads. 80% of them are probably look-see, wrongly click, not that interested, not that keen yet, or just looking around. So yeah, a lot of them may not respond to your contact, whether you email them or call them or whatever. A bunch of them will not do anything about that. So what are the ways that really can help you book more calls from the lead gen campaign? So, I mean, as we are speaking, I just got somebody book a call with me because they have seen my YouTube video. They click on certain links and then book a call. So one way, this is the easiest way to get more book calls from lead gen campaign, is to have a YouTube channel. Like, this is not just me having a YouTube channel bragging about it. No, in fact, I have a very small YouTube channel, but I'm getting about like 1 to 2 leads per week. And I close about 60% of these leads that came through. Can you imagine that? It's really powerful. Now, what I want to say here is this. If you're running lead gen, okay, you need to take care of your online credential. Let's do this, right? Nowadays, anybody can run a lead gen campaign claiming they have some solution, or offer some webinar, or like a one-on-one call that you can jump on and they will give you some solution. But do you believe in this thing easily right now? We don't, right? So when we see this kind of advertisement, even if I'm interested in whatever that you're offering, whether it's a lead magnet or webinar or whatever, I may hesitate. The next thing I would do here is I would Google you. Make sense? So my question to you here is, have you ever Googled yourself? Do you see yourself? Do you like what you see in the search result? If not, what can you do? So in my opinion, Google is the fastest way that you can build a presence that rank on Google. YouTube is the fastest way that you can build a presence that rank on Google and YouTube both. But of course, we are not talking about building a Tom, Dick, Harry, just normal YouTube channel. No, you want to have an optimized YouTube channel that really helps you build the credibility right away. Like, I was just having a webinar the other day. I talked about a client that I help because they have a lot of leads, beautiful cost per lead, but it's really difficult to book call. So immediately we added a YouTube channel in the mix. But of course, like I said, we spent about a month plus strategically building the facade of the YouTube channel, choosing the right art and all that to build the look and feel, putting all the right keyword and all that so that it ranks faster. And we just, not just the keyword, we pump in strategy content that guides the audience that may be searching for us, because of the lead gen campaign that we're running, to build the trust rapidly using all these videos. Because trust me, people see you on YouTube. If they watch you before, they feel like they know you. It's a lot easier for you to kind of like invite them into a book call and eventually to convert them into a client. So these are all the things that we can do. So yeah, building a YouTube channel is really effective. Now, the other thing here is we always look at the warm-up sequence. You see, a lot of people just write a few emails and this welcome sequence and they're just being there. You don't do a lot of things. So when you have a lot more different content like YouTube, like even Reels or stories on, like TikTok or whatever, you can actually use all these different content to warm your audience up. Do not just, I'm not saying that emails is not good, but try to give them different things. And of course, like what I say just now, 80% of these leads that came through are usually not that urgent. They probably won't convert right now, but doesn't mean that they won't convert in the future. So my next question here is, what are you doing to nurture them for the long term? So like, for example, every month I will probably have a few calls from my email list because I send regular emails, about 2 to 3 per week. So I can close a good amount of these people who respond to me, because here's the thing, for whatever you do, right? Let's put it this way. Are you selling something, especially if you're doing lead gen? Are you selling something or providing a service that people will really need urgently? Maybe not likely, right? For example, for my case, right, my audience will only find me when they have some advertising and marketing problem. So when they don't have advertising and marketing problem, they don't mind staying in the list because I feed them, in useful information from time to time. I write them emails. I send them about my latest YouTube videos and stuff like that. So that makes them feel, I'm a trustworthy person. So whenever they need help, they come to you. So just imagine if you get 100 leads per month. Let's do it per month, right? 80% of them or even 90% of them do not convert, but 1 year down the road, you probably have over 1,000 emails, and just even compounding after 1,000 per year, 2,000, 2 years. And, if you keep building this thing, eventually you will start getting good amount of people coming back to you and say that they need your help. And you can start reducing your ad spend and you still get all this momentum coming in. And on top of that, if you build a YouTube channel, eventually your YouTube will start getting you leads. I say, what I want to say here is you must have multiple source of leads. That's how I actually started with my YouTube channel. And I started with spending ads on Meta and all that, and even YouTube to get leads. And eventually now I don't spend on ads anymore because I'm already getting a comfortable number of leads coming through. And yeah, so that's something that you want to achieve, right? Just, yeah, it's totally possible. Look at me as a living example. It's definitely possible. So yeah, I was trying to get about more calls from lead gen ads, but I think it's really about looking at the business model itself and try to build long-term momentum to grow your business in a more meaningful way, instead of just looking at, I get X amount of leads, how am I supposed to convert them into X amount of calls? I mean, of course, we can do something about it by tweaking certain things here and there and building certain, like the YouTube channel and stuff. But looking at long term, it's beneficial to build something more meaningful. So if you need help discussing about your lead campaign, of course, we can dive into your ads metrics and see if there is anything that is leaking. I can even look at your email sequence to see if there is anything that I can recommend, your landing page, or even your if you have a YouTube channel, you want to discuss about your YouTube channel to see how we can actually optimize it. Yeah, I can immediately give you some recommendations right away. Yeah, if it's something that you're looking for, then scan this QR code. You can book a call. 30 minutes will do, and book and pay for it immediately, and we can have a quick 30 minutes discussion over Zoom to look at whatever things that we need to look into. Yeah, if that's something that you're looking for, then scan this QR code, and I look forward to work with you. Now, I see there is some question here in the chat. Oh, KY, all right, so you're here, right? Thanks for watching me. So yeah, there you go. All right, I guess that's about it. Thank you so much. And yeah, I guess that's what we have this week. Have a great week ahead. It's already the final week of August. And yeah, I'll see you on coming Sunday. Good night. Bye.